I'm Jessica Cheriton, your host of American Dream TV. I'm here in Salida, Colorado, and I'm with Steve Chapman, the host of Salida Walking Tours. Yep. He's going to show us around downtown today. We're going to learn a lot of things about historic downtown Salida. Behind us is the Palace Hotel. And you were telling me, what can you tell me about this building?
Yeah, so the Palace is really fascinating. One, it's no longer a hotel, it's now vacation rentals. But the Palace Hotel went up in 1909. Cost a couple of $1 million in today's money to build. And this was the shining jewel of downtown. Things were a little different in the day. The rooms were just big enough for a bed and a night table. So everywhere that you see a window was a separate room. So it's changed a lot over the years. And then this corner building were called sample rooms. Traveling salesmen would come to town, they'd get off the train. They would rent space downstairs, they'd live upstairs. And they would set up shop. And then when business finally dried up, they'd hop back on the train, move to the next town.
You said you were going to tell me about the oldest commercial building downtown.
That building went up in January 1883, and you got to realize what things were like at the time. Originally, most of downtown were very cheap wood frame buildings. You didn't want to put a lot of money in because these boom towns came and went constantly.
Right.
But the people who built that, it was Edward Corbin, Elias Webb. They were college-educated men out of Illinois. They had come out of Cleora, which used to be up the road just a little ways, doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But they realized this town had legs because the railroad was based here.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they went brick as soon as they could afford it. So it's now the oldest commercial building. Later, upstairs was the Masonic Lodge, and much later, downstairs was a saloon, and upstairs was a brothel.
So tell me a little more about where downtown was supposed to be, or the direction town was planned on being built, and how that all changed.
Yeah, so a lot has really kind of shifted over the years. When the town was first created, First Street was the main street, and the town was lined up to face the mountains. You can't quite see them with the clouds. And the reason was the original train depot was up here on G and First. Most of the commerce was on that end of First Street, but it's not a really good place for a depot. And not long after establishing the town, they moved it across the river, which they didn't have a bridge at the time, but they still built the depot there. And very quickly, everybody realized, well, if you want to make money, you need to be near the depot, and the town shifted, and F Street became a de facto main street. That's why lower F is where most of the businesses are today. Behind me, those are called ghost signs. A ghost sign is like a ghost town. It's a billboard that's no longer in use. And this is some of the oldest you'll ever run into, and some of the best preserved. Starting up top, we have Coca-Cola for 5 cents. Under Coca-Cola are 2 sets of words, one on top of the other. One set of words has an early marketing slogan. It reads, "For that tired feeling." Because when this went up in 1890, Coca-Cola was a medication, not a soft drink. At the time, they believed carbonated beverages had medicinal qualities. It could cure things like asthma or arthritis. Under the Coca-Cola sign, though, you see Patterson Hardware. That was down here for about 50 years. And then below that in white is Howell Drug Company. On top of that are 2 words in black. It reads DuPont Explosives. You can buy crates of dynamite at the Patterson Hardware store. I know this little area for a really short period incredibly well.
So I can ask about this wall, for example.
This wall, yep.
Because this is more modern.
It is. This is probably the second most photographed place in town next to the river. This is an art display. It's put up by the building owner's name is Denny. Denny is probably in his 80s now. He's taught kayaking here, and he put this up as an art display and a tribute to the kayaking world. Like that's his sign there. That used to be his company.
Okay, Steve, I wanted to thank you for coming out and showing us around downtown today. I think you have such a pulse on what town is about, and important, I think, to know about where we live. And if you ever come out to Salida, there's walking tours to take. We'd love to see you out here. So now we're over here on 3rd Street and we're going to take a look at these old historic buildings that were recently condominiumized and make some great downtown living with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms next to everything that we just took a look at downtown. So now we're standing behind those condos on 3rd Street, and this is all available for development, as is a lot of other smaller pieces of land downtown. You could be a part of making new Salida, and there could be 3 or 4 other condominiums built back here in this area. Thanks for joining me. Downtown Salida, Colorado. I learned a lot about what makes our town what it is today. And I'm your host, Jessica Cheriton of American Dream TV. Until next time.